I would like to bring us into that keynote space. We're very lucky today to have Larry Seibert from New York City. He's been a friend of the Startup Prize for a long time. He really, I think you kind of came to us almost as an investor, and now you've gone to the dark side a little bit. But I was wondering if maybe you could start by introducing yourself and talking about who you are and what you've done and what you're doing now. But not the Lawrence of Arabia version, more the Stranger Things version. Yes.
Thank you, Gregory. It's great to be here. We had a blast over at the table the last hour or so. Some really amazing businesses here. I can feel it already. I'm sure there are a lot more. If this is a conversation about how awesome I am, it's going to be really short, so don't worry. I got involved in this through a friend a couple of years ago, and I've really enjoyed myself. I'm involved in a business of my own. When I started with Gregory, I was at the very, very early stages of the business, so there was a lot of uncertainty, up days, down days. We're starting to catch on now. What do we do as a company? We are simply put, a renewable energy company. What does that mean? We have 3 different products. One brings utility-grade power anywhere in the world, which is a pretty tough thing to do. It's a product that you plug in your energy source, it manages it to the storage, and then manages the load. That's a pretty tough thing to be able to do, which is why it doesn't really exist today. So we can build microgrids, which are self-sustainable energy sources and uses. The second product is a storage system. So if you're going to build a system that manages power really well, you probably want to find out a way to store it really well too. The good news is that we're now moving on to a place where batteries and storage are charged instantly, they last forever, they're non-toxic, non-flammable. We've done it, I think probably some others will do it in the next couple of years, but that kind of changes the whole renewable energy landscape. We work with utilities, we work places where there aren't any utilities. The beauty of that is we can go to a utility and say, hey, we have something that replaces you in certain places, which is why we're perfect partners, because you have a network that is operating at 50% efficiency. Utility electric grid is a very inefficient beast. It's been around for years and years. It's wonderful technology. They do incredible things. When you flip the switch, the light goes on. Awesome. Super inefficient. So if you want to make that better, you have to bring generation and storage to different places within the network. And you have to be able to move them around maybe, wherever there is energy, wherever you need the storage. The pain is in particular points. Our products address that. So on the generation side, we handle the management of the power. Then we have the storage of the power. We also have an efficiency product. So if you decrease the need for energy in the world, then you're solving the problem in the reverse way. So we have an air conditioning technology that is 60 to 70% more efficient than current compressor-based, freon-based technology, but it has none of that. It's solid state. Again, the good news is this is from off-the-shelf components. Our inventor is an incredible person. I'll get into a little bit of the story about that. But he makes technologies that are already out there just a lot better. So if you're talking about risk in technology, he hasn't invented tabletop fusion. He has taken things that have been around, like these. This is what's called a supercapacitor. It's a device that is graphene and paper. Graphene is very plentiful. Supercapacitors have been around for as long as chemical batteries, but we've made them much more dense. This is 50 times more dense than the capacitors that Maxwell makes. And we've been able to control it, which is very hard to do.
And so what happens if you stick your tongue on it?
Let's find out.
If this thing is fully charged, you do not want to stick your tongue.
Yeah, that's right. It just puts you out right. By the way, Elon Musk is pointing an ICBM right here at you right now.
So
he's looking at you through that poster.
So Elon is aware of what we're doing. What the response will be very interesting. He has a gigafactory, but he also has a big need. We have converted a Nissan Leaf in Dubai, in our lab, I'm going to go see it next week and test it, document it, and bring it back here. Some of the products where this is sort of a no-brainer, this is a battery pack. A lot of you have those lithium-ion packs, and you wake up in the morning and go, oh, I didn't charge it last night, so it's useless. This charges in about 3 minutes with a 110-volt outlet. If I had a better power supply, which I'm going to pick up when I go there, it'll do it in about 30 seconds. From 110-volt outlet, it has 10 phone charges in it. This also has a port on the side of it with an outlet. You can put jumper cables on it and start your car. So in the future, this thing will be the battery in your car, and it'll operate just fine. This will last forever. It will never catch on fire on an airplane or anywhere else. We're talking with the New York Fire Department to bring this stuff in at scale. We were at the point where this is a toy to us. We forget it's a $1 billion market, but it's a toy. What we're doing is bringing grid-level storage, huge amounts of storage to utility networks. They can put them in buildings in New York City because it's not flammable. It's not a chemical battery. So anything that a battery is used for today, these devices can replace that. Anywhere where there isn't any power, if you supply us with up to 8 energy sources, we'll manage it, we'll store it, and we'll supply the load without the help of a utility network. Places like Africa, we're getting a lot of interest in the server plus storage technology. Within the current utility grid structure, we have a lot of interest from just a storage perspective or just a power management perspective as well. So it has application pretty much everywhere. Having said that, we've been at this for a couple of years now. A tiny bit of history on the inventor. He's a Pakistani gentleman. He moved to Dubai when he was about 35. I got involved in this I was a Wall Street guy. I'm a finance guy. I don't know anything about engineering or electronics. I was in a little bit, but not very much. And I had a 30-year Wall Street career. Bought and sold my company, had a little pile of money on the table, and was trying to figure out what to do with it. So I started investing in technology on the side. My college roommate called me up and said, I think I found the one. And I said, what do you mean the one? He said, get on a plane, come to Dubai, and I'll show you. So I went. It was the server technology only at the time. It wasn't the battery quite yet. So I looked at it.
I have to stop you. So somebody called you, said they found the one, and then you jumped in a plane to Dubai.
Yes.
Roll that around in your head, folks, right there.
So I think really the main message there is that the U.S. has been in this privileged position of thinking that we're exceptional, when in fact what we have that is exceptional is the infrastructure and the process and the founding documents that makes this a great place to run a business. So you guys are it's a great place. I've been around the world, I can tell you, the U.S. is the best place to have a business. So I went there, and I tried to do business there. I tried to continue the structure that was there. But in Dubai, without going into a lot of detail, it's very difficult to run a business. They don't have fractional shares. You can only have a certain number of shareholders. It's a bureaucratic nightmare. I wasn't a citizen, so I'm not privileged in any way. I could never be a citizen, even if I wanted to be. So I looked at this, and my partners agreed that it made sense to move to the U.S. The lab is still in Dubai, but the company was founded in New York City. We're going to take a space at the Brooklyn Navy Yard in the September-October timeframe. So what we've done is taken a technology that was invented somewhere else. Doesn't matter, somewhere else. Someone had a really good idea somewhere else in the world. And we are bringing it to the U.S. because the U.S. is the place that we want to be here. It's the place that we can really grow that technology. The corollary to that is you have to be willing to accept change. You have to wake up every morning and say to yourself, something's going to happen, that it's going to be unexpected, I got to be able to deal with it. And once you start to enjoy that process, get out of that mode.
You know, it's interesting because you and I had a lot of conversations over our time together. And I think when we first started chatting, it was a different Chip, it was very much sort of on the investor side, right? And,
Oh, yeah.
and I feel you starting to walk the path that again, different scale, but certainly the same path that everyone out here is walking. What is that like to be on the startup path?
So
and to move over to almost like an entrepreneur, right?
So you're right, I was the guy who set the terms and handed out the money and beat people up when they didn't make their milestones. Now I'm completely on the other side of that. It annoys me when people set the terms. It annoys me when they beat me up, and I have to deal with that now.
You're like the prison guard that goes to jail, dude.
So that, it's terrifying at times. We've had days where, and I'll just give you an example. I've gotten to travel a lot, which is become a passion. I really love it. I was in South Africa working with our distributor for a week, and the first night I got there, I got a call from my CEO. He was in the hotel as well. And he said, my name's Chip. He said, Chip, we have a big problem. And I said, what? And he said, Wasim is in a hotel in Karachi, it's on fire, and he is stuck. And I went, oh my God, our guy is literally in trouble, potentially gonna die, and this is our guiding light, basically. And he said, I can't stay on the phone, I gotta talk to him. And we went back and forth with Wasim, where at one point he said, I can't breathe, I can't talk to you right now. I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. But he left his room trying to get out of the hotel. And ultimately, by the way, 23 people died in this fire. He left his room, he got into the hallway. The fumes were toxic. He made a decision. Actually, his door slammed behind him and he didn't have his key. So he had to make a decision. Do I go for the fire exit, or do I grab that guy over there who has a key to his room? He chose to go with the guy who had a key to his room. He went into that room. He then called back, Omar, I can't breathe now, it's coming in here, I'm not really sure what we're supposed to do here. And he started calling the people that he knew. Fortunately, he knew a guy in Karachi who was in charge of the emergency equipment, fire department, and all that. So they rolled more trucks over there that had not responded. So Omar's called me back saying he can't breathe, I really don't know what to tell you, we're in big trouble here. And eventually, they got control of the fire, but having done that, the smoke came up and they had broken a window to breathe. Meanwhile, Wasim, who's an incredible person, had taken control of the room. One guy wanted to jump out the window, and he had smacked him around a little bit and given him a wet towel. All of this, if you can imagine, is I've flown to South Africa and I'm expecting to talk to people about business the next day, and our founder is literally in peril. They finally got control of this fire, and they got them out of the building. Again, 23 people died in this fire. It wasn't his first choice, second choice, or third choice hotel. The fire alarm didn't work, nothing was working. It's sort of your typical, in that kind of the part of the world that happens all the time. And we don't even hear about it, and probably you guys didn't hear about this fire. So the next morning we get up, Wasim has survived. We're really excited and ready to go. We sit down with a supplier to the second largest cellular tower company in South Africa. And the first question they asked us was, how much production can we have? We about fell out of our seats. We had been thinking we were going to go there and sort of fight for something or get them to buy something, whatever. They said, how much can you produce? Right, so we came back to them with a letter, said megawatt, 2 megawatt, 3 megawatts over the next couple of months. And then went in a 24-hour span, went from where our friend is gone and our business is over to we just may have landed a massive contract with a big company in Africa. So you hope you don't go through that every day, but it certainly is volatile to be involved in these things, to be in it every day, to be addressing all those problems that come up.
And so the lesson learned is to book on hotels.com.
So I actually looked at on Amazon those masks.
Or to buy something different, buy a
And
mask.
literally just put them on
Yes.
and then you can just kind of go. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the business changes every day. So you guys, again, change is inevitable. Once you accept that, it's actually not so bad. It's actually fine. But every day you'll wake up and something about the business will change. So for me, it's become, I think we're on to something really, really big here. And so when we go in, for instance, we were in Seattle last week, and we fortuitously got a meeting with T-Mobile. Now, battling your way into a big company takes months sometimes. To get the right person takes a long time. To get them to listen takes a long time. We got a meeting within a week with the head of networking at T-Mobile. And we sat down within 15 minutes. He and the engineers on the phone said, "Oh, hey, that sounds really great. Why don't you send us a couple of batteries in Denver, we'll test them, and if they do what you say, then we'll put them in our battery buying program, which is $20 million a year." Okay. So at a certain point, all that really hard, slogging, take every meeting you can get anywhere, anytime work becomes easier. Once you've, it's the whole chicken and the egg. Once you're out there and have something to show somebody, once you sell something, the next person's gonna go, "Oh, someone paid money for that? I'm in." That'll happen, but it takes a couple of years.
So, in looking at all those things, when you talk about these tectonic swings that you've gone through as a startup entrepreneur, it's like I said, very different, because probably as an investor, you wouldn't have cared so much about the story, about the founder. You would have actually been more interested in the second meeting that you had in South Africa. And I'm curious about the idea of being an entrepreneur or an investor. Are there similarities between the two, or are they just divergent paths that hopefully meet when the entrepreneur makes money?
The quick answer is they can be similar. You have to find the people that align with your goals and interests. That's not always so easy. We've avoided the VC crowd. Not because we hate them as people, but because they generally have a short horizon. They have a lot of requirements. They want their people in there. They've done this for a long time. They think they have a lot of the answers. And at the end of the day, it took me a half a century to figure out what I want to do with my life. But I think I kind of know what I'm doing now. And I think my partners are in that exact same place where we have the blinders on a 20-year strategy. It's literally a 20-year process that we're going to go through to get done the things that we need to get done. We know it's going to take that long. So when you have someone coming in there going, "Can we go public in 2 years?" I go, I don't think we're on the same page. I got to find the people who are passionate about renewable energy. Although, I'll say, go to our website. It's not green. It doesn't talk about renewable energy because we don't need to. It is renewable energy. By definition, you're taking inputs that are wind and solar and whatever else you want and allowing people to generate power where they use it and to store that power in a package that is renewable, or at least doesn't pollute the environment. So it'll take 5 years for this to catch on, just for people to go, "Oh, I get it." And so I have to be ready to not wait 5 years for anything, but wait 5 years for the world to get it. We figured it'll take that long. Then, if you think about it, if we're all switching over to some renewable solution, that's a 10 or 20-year synchronized global economic boom. We never had one of those. So, and again, it's not me, it's my company, it's other people's companies. This will be contagious. People will do things. Maybe some of you guys will come up with things that help as well. If we do that switch, then this sort of slow economy that everyone complains about isn't going to be so slow. It's not going to be just here. It's going to be Africa, a place that's just had a terrible hand its entire existence will become a really exciting, interesting place. Utilities are no good there. But in the places, in emerging markets, power is cheap, but it's no good. Places like here, power is expensive, and it's really good. So we have to be able to figure out where we're going to fit in. And our strategy, and I recommend this to everyone, is to partner up. Right? Whatever you're good at, great, do it. Whatever you're not good at, don't ignore it. Find someone who can do it. And so we partner with the utilities. We say, listen, we don't need you, We can go to Africa. We can sell a lot of systems in Africa. Eventually, we're going to choke you to death. Because wherever there isn't power, there's a lot of space. We will fill in those spaces, and then we'll start to encroach on the places that do have an electric grid. And we'll just step over you and keep going. But if you decide that you're ready to go to the grid of the future, we can be super helpful in that. And so we've had an incredible reception, because we don't go in there with our middle finger up, which every other renewable energy company in the world does. Why? Because they don't have a solution that works. 0.5% of the energy in this country is generated with solar. I'm sorry, that's a complete failure in the 40 or so years we've been trying. Why? Because it doesn't work. It doesn't work because panels aren't that good. It doesn't work because the electronics around that system don't work. And there is no storage solution that's good. We solve 2 of those problems. And so that makes everything viable.
So I'm curious if Larry the investor would like Larry the entrepreneur, because I mean, and I asked that for two reasons. Two reasons, because one is, I mean, and again, everyone here has sort of like their dream, right?
Yeah.
I've heard things, everything from hydroponic farming to things that are much bigger and headier. I think one of the things that's interesting about what you're pitching out there, even though you're in Africa and you're global and you're doing all these things, is that you have set a path in front of you that isn't gazelle-like, right? It doesn't necessarily have the plan to be a unicorn tomorrow, right?
Right.
We have to start pulling
Right.
mythical animals out of our butts like
Right.
everybody else does, right? But curious about like that idea, because again, you've lived on both sides, and that's it's interesting to find that dichotomy. I am curious about like that you know, we're going to make money and we're going to do what we do and we're going to experience wonderful profit, but if it takes time, it takes time. And so what is that like?
So nobody's asked the question the way you just asked it, and that turns out to be, I think, a really interesting question. So when I was on Wall Street for 30 years, I was unhappy. I had not found the thing that is fulfilling to me. And if I sort of parse it out, I kept improving my skill set in things for reasons that I wasn't sure why I was doing it. But I did it. I had interests and I did things. When I found this, and it literally, as I said, took a half a century for me to figure out that that wasn't my thing. I didn't like that guy. And the reason I didn't like that guy was because there's a gamut of business and morality, morality. On Wall Street, sorry to say, there's very little morality. It's about the fee. And I don't mean that to knock anybody on Wall Street. I was there and there's some great people there. But it's not about the moral part. It's about how do I make the biggest fee possible. I work for Goldman. They're really good at that. On the other side, you've got the environmentalists who grab another person and yell at Exxon. It's all about moral. But there's no scaling that. It's really difficult to have a big impact. Greenpeace has done some good work and there are big organizations out there, but it's hard to get really, really big and have an effect. Somewhere in the middle, and this is the whole social thing that's going on now, it's become cool, thank God, for you to have a social aspect to your business, where you have a mission to do something that's actually good, but you're not afraid to use the leverage that you get from having a business to do that. That's incredible. So when I get up in the morning, I actually sort of like myself now, because I think I'm doing something that ultimately is going to be really important for the planet. I get up and I'm excited. I think it's great. I've chosen a path of trust first and see what happens, pay it forward, if you will. And that seems to be working. As an example, in January of last year, I was at a trade conference in Abu Dhabi, and a fellow walked into my booth and he said, "This is really cool. I want to sell this stuff to you in Africa." I talked to him for 3 minutes. I liked him. I said, "I think he might be my guy." For 4 months, this guy worked like a dog with no agreement. It took us 4 months to figure out how we were going to work together. We eventually got one. He's the sole distributor in South Africa. His team is amazing. I mean, these guys got us into MTN, to Vodafone, to all kinds of different mines, to project development, real estate stuff, to everything that you would want to be in, streetlights, everything you'd want to be in Africa. And they did it all on trust. And so those guys are in the Hall of Fame. They always will be. They're super good friends. I go to Africa, we have a great time. I have fun with those guys because I made the decision to, and at our table, I went around and said, who's a micromanager, who's a delegator, right? Be a delegator, right? But you gotta trust, and to trust, you have to be a good character of judgment. If you pick really bad people all the time and you delegate, you're done. But if you can sort of get a sense of who people are and work with them and just give them stuff, like give them stuff they don't ask for, and work them hard. They'll go to the end of the earth and jump off with you. That's the way it is. I have a team from Wall Street who are sitting ready, willing, and able. Give me the call, I'm in. They're not renewable energy people. They're Wall Street people. But we really like each other. We work together for years. That's the team that I want. I want to get up in the morning and go, I'm excited to work with the people I work with. If there's a business where you could do it with one person, great. I don't know too many of those out there. So you have to decide whether you're going to micromanage, yell, try to get everything done yourself, have a nervous breakdown, whatever it is, you can do it any way you want. But to me, delegate stuff to people that you like and trust and bring them along for the ride, and it's a whole lot more fun.
Yeah, and I will tell you that this is a huge, bold-faced, underlined note to take from the Startup Prize. I mean, from the mentors that you met at your table to just the people that you'll meet that are sitting next to you or in front of you. These are your colleagues, and hopefully the people who are all going to put you on their shoulders to move you down that path to success that we talk so much about. The way you describe sort of the way that you look at business, it's almost startup 3.0. I mean, it feels like we kind of moved past the lying and overinflating and kind of the Barnum and Bailey side of, again, this thing, we're going to have 1 million followers next week. You seem to have a clear vision on the path that you want to get on. And the things that stick out to me is that trust in other people, right, which is kind of unique, right? Perseverance, right? And even to take a note from the panel this morning, passion, right? Do you feel that there is a paradigm shift in the way that startups are starting to be formed and how they're at least finding their own success?
Absolutely.
Can you expand on that?
My calm comes from, I think, just a lot of this experience. I've been through a lot of this before. So when I finally found the thing that worked for me, I kind of went, oh, this is it. Now, I want to do this for a long time. I'm not in this to cash out in a couple of years. So if I think about it in terms of a long-term plan and where you want to be in 10 to 20 years, then you can sort of take that much different path. But there's, Greg, you're right, there's all the people here want to help everybody else. And so when I hand out my business card and say, call me or ask questions or whatever, we need it. I've been through pretty much anything that could happen to you. I've tried to, I've also been involved in startups before. So even while I had that sort of safe perch on Wall Street where I was making the rules, if you will, I was still involved on boards and investing in companies and seeing things from a different side. So I've had horrible people to work with and work for. I've had great people to work with and work for. It has to be a journey. It can't be I found this one thing. You have to start with the idea. So it's a tech, it's a service, whatever it is that idea is. It's not perfect when you find it. Ours wasn't either. Thank God we have a brilliant inventor who makes it perfect really quickly. But you have to have that idea that has a kernel of value. You're not going to get it right the first time, nor do you have to. Frankly, it's about the combination of time and money to get done what you need to get done. And if either of those run out, you're finished. So in technology, you may run out of time because someone comes along and has something that's bad and you missed the boat. In terms of money, you run out of money, you're going to have to go and work for someone else. So at the table that we had, I was encouraged to hear that money wasn't a huge obstacle for people, which is they either had a job or were reasonably comfortable in making it over the next year or two. Whatever you think you need, you're going to need more. So be ready to find people who understand the game, which is it's not one time. You're going to have to come back, but be clear about that from the beginning. And find those people who are capable of doing that, and then widen your audience. You have to be social. You have to get out there and find new people. And I think of the rounds that we've had. The first round was friends and family. It was what we call a faith-based round. Didn't have faith, they weren't going to do it. In me, in my partners. Technology, they just assumed, knew nothing about it, thought maybe if he's saying it's okay, it's okay. The next time we asked for money, about a third, when we sent out allocations to people, about a third of the money came in straight up, I'm taking my allocation because I understand the rules of the game. The next third was people who were increasing their allocation. So existing investors who said, I'm liking this is pretty interesting. Another third we tried to reserve for new people. So you continually bring in the new people as you go. Everyone needs a different amount of money. Don't get into something that you are rapidly going to run out of money and have no solution for when that happens. You have to really plan ahead the next couple of years, and that's a real trick because you're juggling 10 balls at the same time. Good luck, but you're going to have to do it.
And so I'm just kind of curious, just to take is it resonant? Well, raise your hand if it resonates with you about the idea of something taking an elongated bit of time. Like, do people are your businesses more on track to make money quickly or to make money over a long period? Long period, raise your hand. Which is interesting because when you look at even 4 years ago when we were doing the startup prize, I'm not sure that many people would have ever raised their hand because everyone looked at Google or they looked at some flashy startup and that was kind of the beginning and the end of it.
Yes.
Which kind of, and again, I love the idea that a lot of people hear. So raise your hand if you feel like money is not your biggest obstacle. Okay. And that's more hands than I probably thought also.
That's good.
So really, what...
Money, by the way, should never be the primary object. If it is, then you're missing.
Well, with money, sort of like knowing that money is an obstacle or it's not, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are those things that these guys should primarily focus on, right? I mean, we talked about the trust, we talked about perseverance, we talked about passion, but we talked about the nuts and bolts of sort of creating a company that has sort of sustainability and hopefully profitability. What are those things that they need to focus on?
So the formula is actually surprisingly simple, and that is that you have some strengths and you have some weaknesses. If you focus on the strengths and ignore the weaknesses, you'll fail. At some point, you have to figure out how to address those weaknesses. So if you get up every morning and say, I'm not quite good enough at this thing yet, but I know I need to do it, go do it. Don't put it off. Or hire someone else. It's like climbing Mount Everest. You can either get in really good shape and buy a whole bunch of equipment and do it yourself, or you can hire some guy to take you up there and you'll probably survive. You can choose. I mean,
is there a third option where you could hire somebody to climb Mount Everest for you?
Well, you can always do that.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I do.
That's what I would do too. That's right.
Yeah.
Just wear caliber on the back of the jacket.
I mean, so is what you're doing climbing Mount Everest? It's not unusual what you're doing. People start businesses every day, but it is not normal. So you have to remember that most people in the world work for someone else. And if you're okay with that, then more power to you. But if you have this feeling, which you guys have all had, that I can make a difference, or I want to do something specific that I don't see somewhere, then you're in the right place. If you're doing this because you hate the dude you're working for, and you want to just get away from everyone and do your own thing, whoops, that's not going to work at all. So we went around the table and I said, give me your strengths and give me your weaknesses. You have to be really, really comfortable with what those are. I'm not good at certain things and I'm really good at other things. I'm going to be successful because I'm really good at something. I'm going to not fail because I figured out what to do with the rest of it. It's literally almost that simple. Then all you have to do is survive long enough, right? And then if you're paying attention, you'll figure it out. V1 is not going to be great. Deal. listen to people. What is it they said to you? The guy or the girl that paid you money to do something. Listen to them, right? What do they have to say? They saw something there, how could you make it better? It's not all that hard. You have the internet now. The internet is becoming a disaster relative to what it was supposed to be. This whole social thing that we set up. I have twins, they're 14 years old. My son the other day literally said to me, Dad, why do you talk every day? They carefully curate their image on Instagram. You don't spit out words with no preparation and review. You get on the internet and you find the perfect picture and you tweak it until it looks really good and you put it out there. It's all fake. So our reputations are dangerously on the verge of being out there and not in here. So if what's in here doesn't match what's out there, you're going to have a problem. Right? So this whole social aspect of business, which is huge now and amazing, because now if you have a social aspect to your business, that's really cool and really important. So if the mission is something that helps people, not counting the money part, which I think most people when they start a business say, it's not completely about the money. Well, then what is it about? And how do you help people outside of them always writing you a check? That's where there's some huge power and leverage to get in there. But you have to figure out how to be honest. And so the image that you're putting out there can never exceed what's truly inside or available for them at any one particular moment. Or you're not gonna, it's not gonna match, you won't make it.
How do you vet a good idea? I mean, what you're saying makes sense, but there is this sort of, there's a leap of faith between a successful business and one that, you know, if you trust in yourself and you do everything you need to do and you do it right, then there'll be some modicum of personal success or something along that line. But really, at the end of the day, somebody is probably writing a lot of these guys checks, whether it be their friends, their family, you know, VC or whatever. How do you sort of square up with really finding out what's successful? Because I guarantee, if you ask these guys to, well, let me just poll you real quick. Raise your hands if your mom thinks you have a good idea. Well, that's a lot less than I expected. You guys need to check back in with your mom, because my mom thinks my ideas are awesome. But yeah, but how do you sort of get beyond that to a point where you're really kind of giving something a litmus test beyond sort of how it feels?
So it eventually gets back to passion. If you're not passionate about something, then your antenna isn't up, and you will not be good at it, you will not improve it, you will not see what's going on around you, you will not study, you will not go home and read everything you can about it, it's not going to work. So it has to be something, and for me, I found things that I thought were really interesting and went after them, but this was, you know, the one where I literally sat down and absorbed it and went, oh my God, like this, I know this is the one. It is the one for all the reasons that worked for me. It won't work for everyone else necessarily, but for me, everything clicked into place. Every skill I had, everything told me that people were great. I had met the investor, and he's this really down-to-earth, really sweet guy who's kind of been taken advantage of his whole life, and he just wants to do his thing and let other people with skills like I have put it out there and sell it. And so everything just kind of clicked into place, and it just made obvious sense to me. So it is that kind of gut feeling. I don't care what anybody says. Even on when you're handing out the money, you trust your gut in the end. You do all your work, and you have to do the quantitative work because you don't understand the business. And you have to decide based on the numbers, is there a market? Are they addressing the market? Does their product work? Can I get proof that it works? What are the chances they're going to survive? How much money they need? Can we do this? All those are sort of quantitative, but at the end of the day, you're going to sit back and go, do I like this business? Do I trust the people? Do I believe in what they're doing? Where can this go? How can I help? Those are much more smushy decisions.
Yeah, but what you're saying is that they sort of fit into a soulful sort of, I mean, again, it's almost Startup 3.0, which is, it's going beyond. I mean, hopefully everyone out here has an idea that they've looked at it quantitatively, right? They understand what the success benchmarks are, but what you're saying is that you better make damn sure that you're really believing deeply in your project and feeling good about yourself every morning you get up, which is just as important now. Is that what you're saying?
That's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you aren't jazzed in the morning and you gotta to go do this, you don't want to be running from anything. You want to be running to something at all moments. And if you feel yourself getting a little bit off, bring the group together, have a talk, figure it out to get back on whatever the track is. But you have to have the mission. It's really important to sort of sit down and write down all this, by the way. So it's great to say, oh, we're a renewable energy company. But what's your mission? So for us, the mission is to get power to everyone in the world, regardless of whether they can afford it. Think about that. Power is power. Right? Without power, you can't do a lot. One of my pet project is the Azraq refugee camp in Jordan. I believe it's the largest organized refugee camp in the world. Has no power. So anyone who goes there, ends up there, is a lost boy or girl of Sudan. It's a dead end. They have food, shelter, clothing, housing. It's all there. They have no power. So how are you going to find the next thing? With some electricity, you will have a computer, you'll have a phone, you'll have a way to connect to the rest of the world, hopefully in a proper way on social network. But you can move on. So power is so fundamental and basic to economic growth here and everywhere else in the world, that if you can bring that to the places that don't have it, that's a really, really, to me, that's a really compelling thing. I've done social work my whole life, and I've handed out food, and I've done all the things you do. But this, for some reason, this is the one that gets me up in the morning thinking that at some point I'm going to power up the Azraq refugee camp.
And so I'm curious, you talk a lot about the good days, right? I mean, and you also drew a bright comparison between what can be a bad day, which is the gentleman in the hotel, and the meeting the next day that is somebody asking if they can pump a lot of money into your company. How do you deal with the ups and downs of being a startup? Because invariably, everybody deals with, the successful days, but it's also the days that you feel like you're failing. How do you push through those to get back to those other days where you...
So that's actually a really personal question for me. As a young person, I was not good at compartmentalism. By that I mean you take the problems and you put them somewhere, and you can still make decisions around that. When I was younger, I was more emotional. I had a lot of trouble not letting anxiety get the better of me. When you start business, there are going to be days where there's just a lot happening that's really anxiety causing. You have to be able to, as I say, compartmentalize that somewhere and come up with the answer. If you can do that, if you're okay with the ups and downs and figuring out how to deal with things, you'll be fine. But if you're a person who can't get control of your anxiety, you're freaking out all the time about things, you're yelling at people, you're not making good decisions, that's not going to work. For me, that was more forcing myself to be in situations where I wanted to be there, but knew it was going to be anxiety-provoking, and learned how to deal with that really well. When I first got out of college, I couldn't talk to more than one person at any one moment and not be nauseous for 3 weeks before. I was sent out on these marketing things, and I had to talk to groups of people, and literally I was nauseous for a week or two before that. But a million times later, you get up and you tell your story and you're fine. Whatever it is that you need to do, you need to really figure out how to do it without letting your emotions, by definition, get the better of you, and you can make those decisions you need to make.
Now, I am going to turn over questions to the audience, but while you guys are thinking about this, here's going to be I'm going to lob you a softball and let you knock it out of the park. And what I want you to think about,
right?
That's
This is gonna be the end. This is we're gonna do some questions, and you're gonna be able to kind of bring, people to the mountain, right? You're gonna let them kind of walk away with your wisdom. And it's the three things that each one of these people should write down that they walk out of here with that's going to take them to a pathway to success. Okay, three things. Okay, so hands up if you want a question for Larry. Question for Larry? So I've got plenty of them. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hang on. Let me jump in and hey Rob, why don't you give the name and name of your company?
My name is Rob Goday. I have a crowdfunding platform called Crowdfunding, and we're working on the disaster in South Louisiana, Baton Rouge area, where a large number of homes, 165,000 homes, are flooded. And I was sitting there wondering, one of the things you don't see for the disaster is a vision for recovery. People just start working on fixing it, and we never talk about where are we and where are we going to fix it. And one of the things I'm going to do is develop a vision for recovery that includes getting even better than before the flood. And so something like what you offer to me seems to fit. And so I'm curious if you see any pathway to doing that through green or through technology like the stuff that you offer.
Yeah. So, when someone throws out their pitch, it's always interesting when, in the back of your brain, something goes, oh, wait a minute, that is kind of cool. That is kind of cool. That has a lot of opportunity built into it, which is that you take a situation that has gotten really bad, that isn't the normal level, gotten really, really bad, and then you're saying, no, don't come back to normal. Go the distance, be something different. We talk a lot with thinkers in the marketplace, like architects who are doing city of the future, people who are spending money over the next decades, and so you got to plug into some of that. Architects, people who build cities, people who are going to come back and have to rebuild, and get them to be interested in whatever your expertise is in that area. And I don't know exactly what you'd be offering or what the model is or any of that, but that's a really interesting thing, because you are adding something that wasn't there. Trick is going to be the business model on that. Is that a profit or non-profit type thing? But, well, I'd assume to hear the story about how you make money doing that, but there's something in that for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna pull on here and trip over here.
Hi, Jim Rochelle, Ajax Intel, financial technology startup from Memphis. And my question for you is, a lot of times in organizations there's a lot of miscommunication problems. How would you recommend on using expectation management to help manage those expectations between your customers and your clients and ultimately your investors?
So I heard the word communication a bunch of times in that question. That's the answer. Additionally, though, if you're, as I sort of said before, paying it forward, you're doing things that you weren't asked to do, and you're communicating with people about that, with employees in particular. If you do something for them that they weren't expecting, then those are the ones that will follow you to the ends of the earth and jump off with you. You have to treat people fairly, treat them with respect. Screamers aren't good at that. So anytime you can keep up the communication, sit people down, talk to them, socialize with people. I mean, none of this is rocket science. If you trust and like the people you work with, you're going to have much better results. I'm not a big telecommuter. I think FaceTime is really good. And I don't mean in terms of punching a clock so you make sure everybody does 8 hours of work a day or whatever it is. I mean it in terms of you're so much more efficient by sitting down with people and working with them face to face. In fact, we try not to take meetings on the phone, and we really try not to just send someone a presentation. We try to go. Say, we want to come to you and sit down. If I have to get on a plane, I'll do that. Because the face-to-face meetings are always better. So it's face-to-face, it's the level of communication, and it's the way that you do it, which is, I'm going to trust you until you give me reason not to.
Here we go. All right, up here.
My name is Michael Billings. I'm starting the hydroponic urban farm in Shreveport. What tools or strategies have you used to educate your market about your technology that's relatively new or relatively unknown?
Right. First of all, we should talk because we're working on some hydroponic stuff with an architect out in LA and our technology. So hydroponics is coming, as you know. It's going to be really interesting. There's a company that was founded by Elon Musk's brother called Square Root, and they do containerized hydroponic, and they sell food into the urban environment. Of course, you need power, you need lighting, all that stuff. But in terms of, we're actually a great example of that, where we have a technology where we've got a box, it doesn't make any noise, right? So it's sitting there, and there's some lights blinking, and you hear a fan or two, but there's potentially megawatts of power coming into it. It's doing something with it, and then it's storing some of it and using some of it. And so to say to someone, here's how it works, is not easy. That you really, and I had to live with it a couple of months myself before I really got that this was something really special. So we're doing a couple things. Number one is we're talking to people who are really good with media, and we're doing some video type stuff where we have an artist in LA that we're talking to who is good at representing digital data, right? So, but he does it artistically. So if you take a server and maybe you show some electrons coming in and they're swirling around and going different things, and it's saying what these things are doing. We're visual creatures. Anything that you can do, I assume you're saying, you've got a hydroponic system and you're having a tough time kind of telling people why it's better, because it's technology, right? If you can get somebody to do some sort of a video on what the technology is actually doing, whether it's you standing there talking and pointing and showing, that's gold, right? People like really pretty things. It doesn't have to be super pretty, right? The other thing, we talked about this a little bit at our table, testimonials. So if there's anyone who can stand up and say, I like this thing, I use it, here's what's great about it, that's someone else saying it, right? Those are really powerful as well. So any kind of media that you can use that's visual and simplifies things for people so that they can visualize what's going on in a piece of really complicated technology is super helpful.
Okay, and now I want you to think about those three things, right? And while you're thinking about it, I'm just going to remind everybody that right after this, Elena Hibbs over there in the corner and Stephen Knight, I think he's over there, they have the instructions for the big competition that is a boozy pitch competition where you can actually win $500. You just have to be not hungover enough to come the next day to actually get your check. That is our only requirement. Is there anything else I need to state?
There's
There's a set of sunglasses that someone lost also. If, which, yeah, just don't tell the investor judges that someone can't even keep up with their sunglasses. Yeah, don't claim them now. All right, Larry, you ready?
Ready.
Okay. These are the three things, and if anybody wants to take out a pad, they should be so good they're worth writing down. Okay, ready? So let's go for number one. The number one thing that you want these guys to walk out here with.
Okay, so
Wait, does everybody have their pens? Everybody ready?
you guys ready?
Okay.
So the number one thing that I would say is that you're creating an organization. What does that word mean? It means to be organized. Right, so you're pulling together something that didn't exist before, most likely, that must be organized. If it is disorganized, if it's chaotic, you have a lower chance of success. So approach this as, I have a list of things that need to be done, and I need to be super hyper organized about everything. I prefer to delegate. So the number two thing is, think about how you want your organization to feel. So what type of an organization is it? Is it a place that's tense and everybody is given a challenge and they're expected to do it? If they don't do it, they get yelled at. If that's what you want to do, great. I prefer to trust and delegate and say, let's talk about this until you're good, and then you go do it. That's very satisfying for the people that do it. And I think that works a lot better. So remember that you're building, this is your chance to build a culture of your own. So yes, be organized, but understand that this can be anything you want it to be. Right? Having said that, number 3 is you're in a box. Whether you like it or not, you're in a box. It does not have limitless borders. You are given a specific amount of money and you have a specific and potentially very short amount of time to make this work. Understand both of those constraints. Do not wander outside of your box. You will die. So those are the 3 things.
Ladies and gentlemen, give a big hand for Larry Seibert. Keynote.